Hey guys, how y'all doing today? My name is Franchise Fanatic, and welcome back to the channel. And today, if you guys, is another Marvel movie review. Now, you're not seeing me in front of my background. I sound a little nasally, maybe. I'm sick. Working with kids get you sick. Being a teacher will get you sick. So, yeah, here we are. I'm going to try not to die, cough, die in this video. But, yeah, we are reviewing Spider-Man No Way Home. This is October 20th, which is also the one-year anniversary of Spider-Man 2. On PS5, so that's what you're going to be seeing in the background here. Yeah, so let's get into it. So Spider-Man No Way Home, I might have a little bit on Spider-Man 2 at the end, who knows. But Spider-Man No Way Home is pretty much the culmination of everything Spider-Man. You know what I mean? Like, this film, if you didn't see this in theaters, I swear to God, you missed out. Because this is, I mean, for me, this is up there with Avengers Endgame, The Rise of Skywalker, I guess Jurassic World Dominion, Harry Potter Part 2, you know what I mean, like the big culmination, you know, films that we've seen. And No Way Home is kind of up there, you know what I mean? It is genuinely, I guess Deadpool and Wolverine's up there too, but we'll get to that one when we get to it. But No Way Home is, again, like I said, a big moment in cinematic history for many reasons, right? I mean, the first reason is obviously it's the third Spider-Man film in the MCU. That's, you know, in and of itself pretty crazy, but, you know, all this speculation and all this crazy stuff where, oh, you know, who's going to be in this? Oh, man, Doc Ock's in the trailer. Oh, shoot, Green Goblin's in this, you know. And then it was, you know, the whole speculation on, oh, will Tobey Maguire and Andrew Garfield show up? Oh, there's a you know, TV spot in, I don't know, frickin' Brazil, and it shows the lizard, you know, moving his head like 4 inches to the left. Oh my God! I guess that means Andrew Garfield's in there. You know, that quote unquote deep fake shot of, you know, Andrew Spider-Man holding the metal railing or whatever toward the end of the third act. People were like, oh shit, that's fake. That's fake. And then Andrew Garfield's like, you know, it's a Photoshop. You know, it was an insane time. Okay, to you know, kind of, I guess we're stupid because, like, the answer's right in front of us the whole time, you know? Like, we saw Andrew, we saw Lizard, we saw all this stuff, so, you know, obviously, they were going to be in the movie, but no one, you know, not legally, no one 100% knew if Andrew and Tobey would be in it, and that's not why this film is so great, right? The movie, in and of itself, if you took out Andrew, you took out, you know, Tom and whoever, or not Tom, what's Tobey, and all the other freaking people, it's still an amazing film, okay? This is, in my opinion, the best Spider-Man movie out of all of them. Animated, live action, whatever. This is the best for me. I love the CGI. There's one or two moments where Doc Ock is obviously, you know, CGI human, and you're really just supposed to look at his tentacles or Spider-Man. But, you know, CGI for the most part, pretty outstanding. I love the writing. I love the acting. Obviously, everyone's really good in it. I think, you know, I had some words with the Tobey Maguire movies in the past, and I'll get to them because they are, you know, canon to the MCU, much like how Deadpool and Wolverine got a bunch of the Fox stuff in, right? Tobey Maguire Spider-Man, Andrew Garfield Spider-Man, those movies, those, you know, universes are now canon to the MCU, which is really great. But then, you know, on the flip side, you get all the crazy stuff where, you know, you're seeing, you know, these universes collide, and it's just this crazy, awesome thing that's happening. J. Jonah Jameson's back. You know, you got all the villains from the Andrew Garfield movies and the Tobey Maguire movies. You've got, you know, stuff with the MCU Spider-Man with Tom Holland, you know, and how he's kind of figuring out, hey, the whole world knows I'm Spider-Man. How am I going to do this? And he's like, oh, I'll just, you know, contact Doctor Strange, have him do some woogly boogly magic, and we're good, you know, problem solved. And, of course, shit hits the fan, or webs hit the fan, I guess, in a lot of crazy ways. And, again, if you took out all the cameos, okay, took out all the crazy stuff and the holy shit moments and the whatever, it's still a great film. Now, with those things in it, it's an even better film. Like, I'm not gonna lie, you know what I mean? But a lot of people, I've you know, heard a lot of people say that this film is kind of fan service, and it's just, oh, you know, it's cheap moments, and it's, oh, look, Toby's there, oh, cool, and then it fades. Oh, look, Andrew's there, oh, whatever, you know. Oh, look, it's the lizard, wow. Oh, okay, who cares? No, like, the way that they wrote this film, these cameos are not cameos. They're not. Like, cameos are quick little, you know, blink and you'll miss it. Like, Stan Lee is a cameo before he passed away, you know what I mean? He was a cameo. And these characters are not. They are legitimate characters in this film. They have a role to play. And I think that's really, really great. Of course, you get Zendaya and Jacob Batalon playing MJ and Ned. I dropped the Blu-ray on the floor. That's cool. That's fine. I can't even reach it, but maybe. No, I don't have the webs. I tried. Yeah, so this is essentially, like I said, a big old crazy moment for a lot of different reasons. But you take away, like I said, all the cameos and strip away all the wow moments. This is the true Spider-Man movie for Tom Holland in a sense that by the end of this film, he is essentially the Spider-Man that we all wanted to see from the very beginning. Really, this is his trilogy. And by the end of his trilogy, he really becomes who he was supposed to be the whole time, right? You look at, Spider-Man Homecoming, right? And you have Spider-Man becoming, people were calling him, Iron Boy Jr. or something? I don't know. Spider Iron Boy Man? I don't know. And, yeah, that was the plot. That was the point. He was supposed to have the nanotech and the Iron Man shit, you know what I mean? And the crazy webs and the crazy, arms. Kind of like some of the stuff you see in the, PlayStation games. But really, by the end of this trilogy, Iron Man's dead. Everyone in the universe doesn't know that Peter Parker is Spider-Man. They don't know him at all. He's literally back to square one. So by the end of this film, he, gets into that apartment, and it's a crap-looking apartment. He's got the Lego Palpatine for Ned, the coffee cup for MJ, and he's, basically on his own, right? He has no Aunt May, no Uncle Ben, no anyone, really. He's basically on his own, right? And he swings out into the night sky and just kind of, accepts that. And I guess that you could see that as an allegory for growing up or whatever, but I don't really think that many adults are completely cut off from the whole world, but we all have someone to rely upon, at least I hope so, but Peter Parker really doesn't at the end of this film. And that kind of sets up for a brand new adventure with, of course, Spider-Man 4, which apparently the fourth film is going to be, centered around multiversal stuff, and Tobey and Andrew are coming back, and a lot of people kind of wanted this to be a quote-unquote, this term kind of gets tossed around like Call of Duty terms. Remember when COD had the boots jumping and shit, and they were like, World War II, it's boots on the ground. We have boots on the ground. And I'm like, cool. If I hear the term boots on the ground one more time, my boots will be... Never mind. But you get the idea, right? The same thing here. They're like, oh, we got to have street-level adventures. Spider-Man's a street-level hero. And it's like, yeah, he is. But people need to remember that they're in the frickin' multiverse saga, for God's sake. They're not going to ground it, you know what I mean? Some of the things were a little more grounded, like Falcon, Winter Soldier, stuff like that, Thunderbolts. I'm assuming I haven't seen it yet, but Captain America, Brave New World, stuff like that. But, what you're getting here in this multiverse saga is, two big things. You're getting basically, like I said, the birth of Tom Holland's Spider-Man as we should have had him. And that's not to say that he was bad in Homecoming or Far From Home. They had a story to tell with the MCU, with Iron Man, and it works, right? You can see my other reviews, it works. This, on the other hand, shows that, yeah, we have the Tobey Maguire and the Andrew Garfield movies. Those are now canon to the MCU. And, once the villains kind of returned back to their original timeline, I was kind of confused, right? I've seen this, I think this is my third time watching it, but I've seen this movie, and I'm like, oh, so Tobey and Andrew go back to where they were, after the events of their films. But what about the villains? Where do they go? And I was like, oh, well, that doesn't make any effing sense, right? Because if Norman Osborn is cured, and then he's going to go back to where right before he died, he's going to get effing impaled, and it wouldn't matter, But I read about it, and I did some logic. Again, if you have a question on media literacy, please do not hate the material. Please do your own research, use your brain, which I did. And guess what? I found the answer I was looking for. In the MCU canon, when, it is established in Endgame and Loki and other things, when you essentially F with the timeline, you don't break your current timeline, you break, you essentially create new timelines. So when all the villains are quote-unquote cured and they go back to their timeline, they're not going back to when they were evil in, the timeline that we know as the movies, right? They're making their own branching, unique timeline where they can still, for the villains, they're living a brand new world as cured people. And when Tobey and Andrew go back to their own world, they're essentially going back to the world where they were still villains. It's kind of confusing, but the MCU is really effing confusing now, so if you don't get it, you're probably far behind. You're kind of out of luck, I'm sorry. The MCU has just gotten too goddamn big for its own good. But at the same time, that's what it is. I did some research, I found it out, I did some canonical digging online, and that helped me, because I was like, wait, does that mean that the Andrew Garfield and Tobey Maguire movies aren't canon because of their events were changed? But no, I'm like, no, this isn't time travel. This is just creating new alternate timelines, which is all BS anyway, when you say it out loud. But still, in the MCU lingo, it makes sense, so trust me. But yeah, so that was cool to find out and just kind of, I always knew that, but I just kind of forgot it, I guess. But yeah, man, what a great movie. Like, the acting is incredible. I'm not going to effing lie, bro. Like, I'm not one to... I'm a man, but I'm not one to be like, oh, I don't cry at movies. I'm a man. That's for girls. Like, no, like, if you gotta fucking cry, cry. I don't care. But I don't cry at movies. Like, really. I only cry. I think I cried at the Rise of Skywalker Lego movie. I think that's it in terms of the theater. I think I cried when I saw Barbie, but that was just because it was so goddamn bad. But the... when I watched Endgame, I cried because it was, you can watch the review. Not a lot, I'm not like a baby. I'm not like, like I was just a little tear. But, and trust me, man, crying with glasses on effing sucks because you got to take them off, clean them. It stinks. But, yeah, so with that, you get me crying like a little bitch yesterday because this is, Spider-Man is not my favorite Marvel hero. He's one of them. I don't even know if I have a favorite, but he's one of them, okay? And I love this character. I might not love the Tobey Maguire movies. All right, I think the Andrew Garfield movies are fine. I do love the Tom Holland trilogy, though. I think his movies are pretty much perfect. I love the animated stuff with Spider-Verse. I love the games. I love him in the Lego Marvel games. I love him in Spider-Man 2. Again, 1-year anniversary. So, I love the comics. I genuinely love this character. I don't know if he's woke now or if he's whatever now, but, I love Peter. I love the character of Miles. I love Spider-Gwen. I love the Spider-Man mythos, right? And to kind of see this film kind of culminate in, 3 different Spider-Mans on screen. That isn't just a cheap fan service moment. That, for Spider-Man fans, for Marvel fans, for me, and probably you, if you're watching this was a big moment, right? This is where people were like, oh, this is not just a movie anymore. This is like an event. You know what I mean? This is something where people can come together and say, hey, my favorite Spider-Man's here, and your favorite Spider-Man's here. This is sick. This is really cool. And, again, when you strip that away, it's still an amazing film with Tom and his character arc and all that, and the characters, the villains get their own arcs, the callbacks are really great. I can make a case for, Norman, I'm something of a scientist myself, and I'm like, okay, we get it, there's a few things where they're clearly paying homage to their own effing movie. I'm not stupid, okay, I get it, but it works, it never felt like cheap fan service where, obviously you're supposed to go, oh, holy shit, like that's the point. And it is a bit, when I saw it in theaters, I did freak out a few times. Like, not like crazy. Like when you watch theater reactions on YouTube and people are like throwing popcorn, they're acting like freaking monkeys from a zoo. That's not how I was acting, okay? That's not how theaters should act, because some people were screaming so freaking loud you couldn't even hear the audio in the movie theater, which is another thing. But, I did, moderately speaking, freak out when I saw it in theaters, right? Because it was a big moment. Are they going to show up? That was a genius marketing move. But watching it last night, obviously I know what's happening, so I wasn't freaking out, so to speak. But I got goosebumps once or twice, man. Like when Toby and Andrew show up, it's still like I wasn't freaking out or screaming or throwing my chair or whatever. But I was like, damn, like this is effing cool. You know what I mean? It's crazy. The fact that legally we're able to do this now. The fact that these. I remember when the Andrew Garfield movies came out in theaters. I didn't see them in theaters, but I remember when they released, right? I remember when, I guess the Tobey Maguire movies too were at their peak. I was a little kid, but I was alive for them, and it was just crazy that, legally you couldn't have Sony and Disney, or Fox and Disney, or whatever, it was just like, no, that's its own. Spider-Man, Andrew Garfield, it's its own thing. It's got nothing to do with Tobey, nothing to do with Tom, and then all of a sudden, they I guess they played nice, and they worked out together, and they were able to do it. What a great film. And again, we'll get to the other stuff with like Across the Spider-Verse and all that, because that just makes the MCU canon even bigger, that movie. But as far as No Way Home, again, I love the story they went with him trying to kind of erase things with Doctor Strange, how he gets kind of carried away, and how he kind of has to make up for that by taking these villains and kind of reforming. And then we get, of course, Aunt May's death, which is, sad, but I think... there's one cringy moment, I think, when she dies, and Peter's like, May, are you there? Look at me. And I'm like, dude, she's dead. Like, she's not responsive. Like, I know it's a movie, and it's supposed to be dramatic, but I'm like, yeah, she looks pretty dead-o to me, boy. You know what I mean? She's getting a dead-o to me, boy, So just a little nitpick there, but I think it is a genuinely great scene. And, of course, Aunt May gets the Uncle Ben moment, she says, with great power, there must also come great responsibility. She kind of changes it a bit, the wording, but it still works, and that's the moment where she's always been there for Peter, right, with Feast, or just helping him at school or whatnot, but, her moments before her death kind of shows the audience and Peter that this is the Uncle Ben moment. This is the moment that will define who Peter Parker, Tom Holland version, is going forward. You know what I mean? He just, all he wants to do is kill Norman, kill Green Goblin for killing her, and Toby and Andrew are like, look, we've had this experience, we've had our Uncle Ben moment. It doesn't get easier, but it also won't get harder if you just effing do what we want you to do. You know what I mean? Don't kill him, for God's sake, please. Obviously he doesn't, but it's a really good moment where, again, these characters, Toby and Andrew, in this film, they never felt like set dressing. They never felt like, oh, we're there to say hi and then we're gone. It's my 2-minute cameo, and then I'm gonna piss off to whatever I'm doing else. They're official characters in this movie, and without them, I don't think Peter Parker, Tom Holland would be the Spider-Man that he is at the end of this film. And that's really beautiful writing. That's how you get cameos to not just be a cameo. That's how you get other film canon universes to coincide with this one and have it make sense. Doctor Strange is great, of course. I love that. I think it's really cool that he's kind of in this as well. MJ is great. We finally get the amazing moment. One moment where I did tear up is where Andrew Garfield saves MJ from falling. It's such like a quick scene. You know what I mean? Like, she's falling, and then you see like a really quick shot of him like, silently going like, no, we're fuck her, and then he kind of he swings and that's the sound effect. He goes, and then he jumps down and he catches her. And, that, if you haven't seen the other movies, probably won't matter too much. But I remember seeing I lied. I did see Amazing Spider-Man 2 in theaters. And it was, it was fine. I didn't have glasses on at that time, so I didn't know what the hell was going on. But I saw colors, and I was like, oh, wow, Spider-Man, yay. But that is the moment where, Gwen dies in that film. And I was like, that hit me as I don't know how, I was probably 13 or 14, but you can do the math. I'm 25 now, but it was a powerful moment, for sure. And the fact that he kind of went off the deep end, so to speak, because of that in his own universe, is crazy. And then he rectifies that by catching MJ and kind of making up what he couldn't do. It's very good writing, man. It's so freaking powerful. And as a massive Spider-Man fan who loves these movies, it really is a crazy time, for sure. And Toby gets his moments, of course. Everyone kind of gets their own moment to shine, which is nice. But yeah, man, I love the final fight. I love the callbacks. I love the villains are great. The Andrew and Toby and Tom, they're all great. Everyone else is great. J. Jonah Jameson. I love the shots. The cinematography is probably the best out of any Spider-Man film ever. I think Aunt May's death is very powerful and poignant. It really works. As far as negatives, man, I really don't think I have that many. Like, this is Marvel at its absolute peak. Again, I have to say this because a lot of people on the internet are kind of confused about it, but this is not a movie where cameos happen and they say their lines and then they dip. This is a movie where you have characters from other worlds and universes and franchises come into one to make not only just a bigger canon for us, the outside viewer, but in the movie they have a role and a purpose. Again, that can't be stated enough because so many people I've read reviews for are like, oh, it's just a bunch of cameos. Just a bunch of cameos. I'm like, do you know what a cameo is, moron? You know what I mean? Like, even Deadpool and Wolverine, there's cameos in that, right? Like Toad or Hazazel, stuff like that. But a lot of the times these cameos aren't in Deadpool and Wolverine. They're also not just cameos. They have a legit purpose and a reason to be there. And I think that's really, really cool. So yeah, I think No Way Home knocked it out of the freaking park, man. I genuinely love this movie. When I rewatch the Tobey and the Andrew movies, I might have a different opinion, but this is the one that I mean, obviously anything MCU related is going to be better acting and writing than Tobey and Andrew. Maybe not Andrew, but for some reason, I don't know. I love the Tobey movies. I own them. They're fun, but I do have some issues with their writing and acting. Kind of like the Star Wars prequels. I love them both, but what do you do? But with this, this MCU Tom Holland thing, I think they really, hit that balance of getting the comedy right and the action right and the drama right and the sadness right. And by the end, like, there are real stakes. No one knows who Peter Parker is. He has to kind of live his life again, basically back to square one. And I think that it's a very good origin story for this character. But it also, ties up loose strings with Tobey and Andrew's worlds, with the villains and with them themselves. And I think it's just a really great package to kind of wrap up this trilogy. I know we're getting Spider-Man 4. I don't know when that's releasing. Apparently Tom and Zendaya read the script and they're liking it, so you know, that's good. But I genuinely love this movie. I think it is the best Spider-Man film ever made so far. Yeah, man, I really, really enjoyed it. I really don't have that many negatives. I mean, there's one or two moments where the CGI is a bit wonky, where, you know, Doctor Strange is fighting Peter on the train in the mirror dimension or whatever, or, you know, maybe when Doc Ock, you can tell Doc Ock's a CG person, because Alfred Mulaney is like a million years old. But anyway, I really don't have that much else to say before I start having a coughing fit. I enjoyed No Way Home. Yeah, as far as negatives, I really don't think I have that many. Again, I am apologizing for being sick. I didn't choose this, but I have to get this video out because I know a lot of people wanted to see this review. So yeah, I think No Way Home is a brilliant film. I don't have that much bad to say about it. I mean, like I said, it's a great homage to the past, and it also kind of, you know, experiments with new stuff. And by the end of this film, I felt like, wow, like this Peter Parker guy, Tom Holland, really had a good character arc. So anyway, almost coughed. Okay, happy anniversary, 1 year to Spider-Man 2 on PS5. Great game. Maybe I'll make a video about it soon when I don't want to die. But yeah, I'm very excited to cover Moon Knight, which is going to be next. So give me a few days to watch that. It is a TV show, not a film. So I'll get to that soon. And then we have Doctor Strange into the Multiverse of Madness. But anyway, Spider-Man No Way Home is a masterpiece. I loved it ever since I saw it. This is my third time watching it, and it's a fantastic film. And yeah, I think this is how you do fan service correctly while also helping the narrative move forward in really fun ways. Thank you guys, and we'll see you in the next video.